into the DAR Sports Media College football game. A huge week, one of the hugest week, one of the hottest weeks. We got conference championships coming up. We got things getting settled in this week's rankings, and just next week's rankings is all that's left. And then we're on to the big bad CFP. In my opinion, this bracket that came out the other day, I'm like, damn, this was a great idea. I was telling Tay that before we recorded the NFL show the other day. I said, man, that bracket came out, and I just looked at it. I'm like, God damn, this was a great idea. Because there's just, even if it changes, even if you're not totally with it, there's still a bunch of huge fucking matchups that are that would be on the slate. Shocking surprises. A season where it could not be possibly more unpredictable. We got Axe in the house. We got the mayor of South Beach. We got the Baron of I-4, Chris Alini, with us tonight because he got some things to say on behalf of those Miami Hurricanes. Even though I don't know if they're going to get a lot of sympathy on this pod. They're slick as oil getting out of a couple of those fucking games with wins. So I don't know if it's even, but hey, that's what we're here for. We're here for dissenting voices. The brackets came out. And as of right now, I mean, like I said, feels like a great fucking idea. First round matchups, Alabama and Notre Dame. Alabama would be going to Notre Dame. It's going to be cold as shit. Tennessee going to Ohio State. Again, very interesting. Cold as fuck. You have an outsider. I don't know whom among us was talking about Arizona State before the season. Me and Tay were talking about it again in our little discussion before we kicked off the NFL show the other day. Man, so first and foremost, am I completely fucking off base here? Axe, you're up there with age with me. Didn't it used to be 5 people that got to go to the Heisman ceremony?
Yeah, for sure. They used to do 5.
Yeah, sure. I think it's only 3 now. But in any case, if it was still 5, I would 100% think that Cam Scattaboo off of Arizona State should be invited to that fucking ceremony because they are completely out of fucking nowhere. He's one of the tippy top and total yardage in the whole fucking nation. Their whole offense runs through him, and this has been a fucking awesome story for Arizona State coming from out of nowhere. Young coach, one of his first few years in the game. The dude got over 9 wins, got a big bonus, like a $200,000 bonus, and he distributed that whole bonus to all of his off the field staff members on his staff. Didn't take a dime of it. Fucking coach of Arizona State's a fucking real one. Cam Scattaboo, badass player. I'd love to see them make it in. And they would be going to Penn State. How sure do we really feel about that matchup? We all know that we have a pretty universal feelings about Penn State on this podcast. I don't know. It's going to be cold up there. Good home field advantage. Arizona State's a sneaky team. So you got Arizona State sneaking in. You got a bunch of huge fucking matchups in the first round. And you have Boise State not only just making it, but perhaps getting a bye. Boise State getting a bye in this first playoff. I think that's fitting because as we've discussed, really the whole fucking movement towards this began with Boise State beating Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl all those years ago when me and Axe were so young. The verticals were over 40 inches. We had the good 3-cone time still. It was great. HD was still new. We had a lot of good things going on back then when Boise State beat Oklahoma, running the Statue of Liberty, and started this whole ball rolling. It would be awesome to see them get a bye. And then our bottom matchup, which, by the way, I do have a little bit of dissent about because they have Texas getting the bye and Georgia playing in the first round game. I don't know why you would think that this Georgia-Texas fucking result is going to be any different this weekend than it was the first time because Georgia busted their ass the first time. So I think it'll be Georgia getting the bye in the end, but we will have to see. Another interesting aspect is SMU being ranked high enough to where they might be able to lose the ACC championship and still make it, especially since the guy who is the head of the table, the chairman of the board for the selections committee, said that none of the teams on the outside will be moving up this weekend. So I think that means, on the outside, unless they play in a conference championship game and win. So this is a win and in situation for Clemson. It's a win and in situation for UNLV. We will see. But it looks like SMU has a pretty good shot of still making it, even if they lose to Clemson. But let's hope that doesn't happen. Hope we don't have to prove that. Axe, hell of a year, hell of a turmoil. What stands out to you about all the stuff that I just laid out?
Well, we had said originally, like maybe in week 2 or 3, that this season is going to have a lot of parity. I don't know if it's NIL, transfer portal, or what, but there's not.
That's what a lot of people have been saying. Now that the rest of the world is allowed to pay players like the SEC already was doing, now it's a little more balanced.
But yeah, between that and just like the competitive nature, like you said, I didn't expect SMU to be this dominant. I didn't expect Arizona State to be this good. It's just a lot of surprises. And parity's good for college football, in all honesty. You don't want to see the same teams just dominating and winning all the time. I'm interested to see how the Big Ten does because, it's a whole lot of SEC bias. I do believe that Oregon's the best team. I believe they'll walk away with the national championship just based off of everybody that I've seen so far. And
they look like the most complete team.
Yeah. And it's just interesting. A lot of good coaching jobs, too. Like you mentioned, Arizona State. Just great coaching, high-quality play, unpredictable games. A lot of these games have been competitive. Even, like, the middle-of-the-pack teams have been dominating and doing – like, middle-of-the-pack teams have come and surprise you, too. You got to bring it every single week. I think that's probably the biggest takeaway. Because even though, like, I don't agree with Bama being in the playoff position because they had 2 horrendous losses, one to Vandy and getting blown out by that Oklahoma team, only putting up 3 points. I feel like
it's one thing for there to be like a miraculous, like close loss, but they got fucking whooped by Oklahoma. That should be the end of that conversation, probably.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but Miami did get robbed. In all honesty, they did have some stinky performances in the wins, but like losing to a very good Syracuse team shouldn't have disqualified them. Syracuse went 9-3, and low key, the ACC was the best that it's been in years. Like, it was a lot of good ACC teams. Georgia Tech was good. Duke was
but did they have any ranked wins though?
I hear what you're saying. I hear.
Does Texas?
Yes, they beat.
They beat number 25 this week.
Yeah.
Texas did afford a lot of smoke. They really did. Like, I don't know how he was able to get around.
Does Penn State? Yeah.
Penn State, Indiana, they didn't really have a strong schedule.
Yeah.
Like, at least Miami was playing bowl eligible teams. What was they, 4-2 against bowl eligible teams? So, like, the ACC was tough this year. I know people don't like to admit that shit, but it was a lot of good teams in the ACC this year for the first time in a while. So that was another takeaway too. We wasn't one of them, but like everybody else.
Chris, I think we can piggyback off of that. Axe is advocating as well that maybe it was a fuck over for Miami. I know you're here with feelings on that. Go ahead and give them to us there.
I mean, I'm looking at the schedule right now. Just a refresher of who we played. I mean, there were a lot of close games. It was Cal was like one of the main ones. That California game on the road in California. First year in the ACC.
I said it. Said it was going to be a tricky one.
Yeah, that could have been that could have been a bad one for us if we lost it. Then of course, we lost to Georgia Tech, who by the way beat a lot of really good teams.
Almost beat Georgia this past weekend.
Right. So I mean, the 2 losses are to 9-3 Syracuse. Sorry, it's 10-2 Syracuse if I'm looking right. In the conference. Oh, well, it's 10-2 in the conference play, or 6-2 in conference. And Georgia Tech. So I mean, you bring in 9-3 Alabama with the SEC bias. I'm not really feeling it. The Canes should have been in. You got a Heisman candidate there at Cam Ward. You know, the offense, the defense was the worst part of the Hurricanes, and at least got to give them a shot. You got to give them a shot. I felt like we got robbed, and it goes back to I had a conversation with one of my guys. Even goes back to Florida State last year, how they got robbed with their record and things like that. And it's just like they rather put a mediocre SEC team in place of a really good ACC team. You know, it's like the SEC Big Ten. They want that. Now there's more teams joining those conferences, and they're like, all right, well, we got to have SEC Big Ten teams. ACC is harder now. You know, I mean, SMU got in, you know, good for them, you know, first year. I mean, you know, Notre Dame is independent. You know, they play ACC basketball and other sports, but yeah, it's pretty much. I'm looking at it. It's pretty much Big Ten and SEC. You know, it's hard. It's hard, man. He should have had Miami in, but I guess Alabama's for the ratings. They want to have the old heads watch Notre Dame versus Alabama in the bracket. Whatever. I'd rather see Notre Dame versus Miami. That's the money. It's always the money. Notre Dame versus Miami. That's always been the money. Always. Doesn't matter what era it is. The 80s, the 90s, now. UM versus Notre Dame. Catholics versus convicts, as they say. Gotta do it.
Tay, I know, you know, Oregon's your squad. I think we all agree that looks like the most complete team in the nation going into this. They still got to, you know, make it happen with the wins. The other team that I wanted to ask you about, because you were a big advocate at the time, is Notre Dame has really come through for you and your predictions. What did you see out of Notre Dame this year that, you know, that came through, and what you thought, and we're here, and they look. What are your thoughts on their trajectory? Do you think they're going to beat Bama this first week, if that's what it ends up being? What do you think how far can they go? Do you think?
Honestly, they're a championship team. Their defense is unreal. Like they're a championship team. That's what I was saying from the beginning. Like I like the offense and whatnot, but they just had a bad week against Northern Illinois. Because outside of that, they played ranked teams. They took care of business every single week. They just had it was early in the season, week 2. They got caught. They got caught slipping. After that, they flipped the switch and didn't look back. They blew everyone out right after that. So yeah, the defense is great. I would have them beating Bama. I have them beating pretty much every team. Honestly, like I think they're the second best team. I don't want to play Notre Dame at all. Not with that defense.
Love really emerged, and Riley Leonard really emerged. Like they developed over the season big time.
Exactly. I want to play now.
Any other thoughts on these rankings headed into conference championship weekend? What do you think? How do you think it'll be turning out next week?
I'll talk about the whole Miami situation. I honestly, Miami didn't really impress me the whole season. Like Miami, they didn't play anyone. I don't care about Syracuse. I'm not gonna lie, because all the other teams above Miami, they got better wins than that. They've probably, you know, they've had at least 2 ranked wins and whatnot. Like Bama blew out Georgia. Like people, like Georgia, and I'm sure everyone here has Georgia as like a top 5 team, and they're like, you know, Bama, they had some good weeks, they had some bad weeks, but they have enough ranked wins to, I guess, slip in there. Like the Oklahoma one was bad, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I would put Bama in there. I think Bama's better than Miami. Like if they matched up, Miami they'd be in trouble. I'm not gonna lie. Like I would have Bama taking care of business in that. But yeah, this is this whole college football, this bracket is very interesting. You know, we might see like Iowa State, SMU. I would have never thought that. Like, it's always Ohio State and Bama and Georgia, but we're about to get a whole new college football, feel to it. Like, who knows? Boise State could win a national championship. It could be like college basketball, like just wildly unpredictable. The worst beats the best. Yeah, I honestly can't wait. I love the bracket. I just think the committee has to be more clear on why they put who over what, stuff like that. I do want to know that. Just back to what I was saying about the whole Bama over Miami thing. I would like explanations like, we put this team on this team because they did this, and
we could use a direct explanation over why Bama's in over Miami. I do agree with you on that. Lee Harvey, what stands out to you about these rankings? And what do you got? What are your thoughts on this upcoming conference championship weekend?
I can't wait for a Saturday. This might be the best conference championship weekend in a while, just based off the stakes at hand. But
yeah, it's a de facto. The playoffs start this weekend. Really?
Yeah.
Playing games, baby. Yeah,
it is.
Like what you said, Clemson, if they win, they're in. And UNLV, if they win, if they somehow beat Boise State, they're in. At that 11, 12 spot, I can see why they left out Miami, because Miami's defense let them down late in the season. But I'm not sure. Can Bama win a national championship? Can this current Bama team win a title? I see Axel shaking his head. I'm not sure about that either. Like, I mean, I don't mind them being in the playoff, but this will be one of the worst Bama teams competing for a title in quite some time.
I think it's hilarious because at the beginning of the season, remember, we all sat here in the preseason and said, how many losses is it going to take before we're free of Bama? And we all said 3. And nope, not quite. Yeah, not quite. I mean, goddamn, all you had to do was lose to fucking Syracuse. So I don't know, some of the other games. True thoughts on the rankings that came out going into conference championship weekend.
All right, first things first, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good, man.
Okay, because I don't have my headphones in right now. I could my phone was dead. That's why I was late. So as far as the rankings and stuff like that, I was actually surprised that for the playoff that Arizona State made. I was very surprised at that. I did think Miami was gonna. I thought Miami could have still made it. I think they took the L, but I don't like Alabama. I just really didn't want to see Bama, personally in there. But the only thing I'm really waiting on right now, because I'm a hater, I'm just waiting for the downfall of Penn State. I've been saying it since the season started. I'm really just waiting on their downfall. I need that to happen very soon. And that's really what I'm waiting on. But everything else kind of went how I expected it. Boise State, you all know I'm pulling for Boise State anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is, man. My guy Genty is he is, and I know Lee, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Two-way contract over there. I know you were pushing for Cam Ward and you talking about you talking about Miami, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, what are they, 10? They like 10th in the entire rankings, and you know what I'm saying?
I think so.
They're like 4th seed in the actual playoffs, right? Like, I think that's what.
Yeah,
I didn't get a chance to look at it all, but I think I didn't get the chance to get detailed and everything, but I feel like that's what I saw. They were like 4th seed, so I'm excited. The only thing I'm sad about is that Texas still rolling. Texas still up there. You know, I've been praying and wishing on their downfall because fuck Texas. You know, fuck the Longhorns. But yeah. Other than that, like everything pretty much seems like like I expected. I am interested to see the Notre Dame and Alabama game when we get to that point, because I feel like that's a Notre Dame win waiting to happen. I don't believe in Bama.
Up there cold.
Yeah, I don't believe in Bama. I just haven't, and I've been saying it pretty much most of the season. I don't see them as what they used to be. The old Roll Tide of before. I don't see that. So and one of my best friends is a big Notre Dame fan. So it pains me to say this, but I'm pulling for Notre Dame to wash them motherfuckers, really. So, but yeah, I do like the matchups though. I'm interested to see some of these matchups, and I mean, this we've been waiting all season for, right? We've been waiting all season to get to this point, and some of our predictions, like you just mentioned, how many losses for Bama to be out? They could have probably lost four, and then they might have still tried to find a way to slide them motherfuckers in there. So it really don't matter what you do.
They're
Bama
like, surprise, we actually changed it, and now it's a 14 team.
Yeah, like they gonna find some way to get Bama in there.
There's a bonus game. 13 against 14 plays in to get
yeah, so yeah, but no, I think outside of seeing Bama there, I think everything else pretty much, like I said, Arizona State was just a shocker. I think that was a shock. I wasn't expecting.
And let's be respectful here. Among another play-in game, like we were just talking about, the ACC championship, the Mountain West championship, the Big 12 championship is also a play-in game, right? We're talking about Arizona State because they're the ones who are in the bracket right now, and it's a cool thing to think about. But equally as shocking and out of nowhere, who had Iowa State who was checking for them at the beginning of the year, and they are in that Big 12 championship game as well. So if they win, they're going. So that also is a play-in game, and we got to show some respect to the Iowa State football team, who also have an opportunity to shock the world and be one of the teams standing there at the end. Chris, we know your disappointment at Miami being left out. What are your thoughts on who is in, and who do you think could make a run here outside of Oregon? Who do you think could also have a legitimate shot at being a champion and winning some games in this thing?
Legitimate shot. I'm gonna be real with you, man. SMU looks real. Yeah, they could be a shocker team. SMU, I know it's not the Pony Express, not the old ways of it's not Craig James and Eric Dickerson out there, but Rhett Lashley used to be a offensive coordinator, the head coach of SMU. And SMU is still one of those Texas teams with the Texas money, and they brought in a lot of players over the last 3 or 4 years. I feel like they might, if out of Alabama and Notre Dame, that third seed, they could. And if it becomes Texas versus SMU, that might be one of those ones. It might be one of those.
Okay, yeah.
One of those matches. You got to watch it, man. That's that old school Southwestern Conference. That's what the people want. I feel like that's what the people want to see. They want to see those old school rivalries, and I feel like Texas SMU might be that one. So, I know Georgia's hovering in there, but I feel like Texas SMU is where the money's at.
Lee, I got to come to you and ask, because one of the matchups on there that's very interesting, especially given the home field advantage, given the situation, given that you were, you liked the things that Tennessee had going on this year between the quarterback, the system, the coach, the roster. They might be coming up to you in December with a chill in the northern air. What are your thoughts, man? Ohio State, we ain't gonna talk about what happened this last weekend.
I'm so high about that.
Which one thing I want to say, I didn't see too much of it. It was just right off the bat. I know that people want to leap about, overzealous police, and I understand why. But I could just tell you from the perspective of somebody who has been on the team, who went into somebody else's house in a huge rivalry game and fucked them up. And the best feeling in the world is when you make people get so mad they do ridiculous fucking shit that makes no sense and that they're in trouble for, such as trying to fight you over a flag, such as pepper spraying. I would have been laughing my ass off on the way home. Pepper sprayed. Fucking we made them so mad. They were so gotten to. They were pepper spraying people on that field. That is the ultimate fucking L. But anyways, everyone stop clutching your petticoats about that. It was fucking fun. It was fucking awesome. Fights are hilarious. They're all in protective gear. It's fine. Nobody's fucking child is gonna get fucking killed. It was fucking great. Tennessee going to Ohio State, man. What are your thoughts?
That's another physical football team. I've mentioned about Nico, but their defense is elite. They got a running back who has 22 touchdowns on the year. He's one of the best runners in the country, not named Genty. They got a big play receiver in Dante Thornton. I mean, that if there's a team that I don't want to run into, even though I'm having the home field advantage, which kind of means nothing looking at last Saturday, but if I had the home field, if I had the home field, Tennessee wouldn't be one of those teams. Would be one of those teams I don't want to go up against.
Yeah. Speaking of Big Ten matchups, Tay, does Penn State got any chance this weekend?
Nah, they suck.
Zero. 21 points? 20 points?
Nah, I'm just playing.
Yo, what's the spread on the game,
it'll be close. It'll be close. Now we're not gonna blow them out. I'll just play. But it's still Penn State. They're one of them. They're like in that Cowboys, Texas Longhorns like bubbles for me. But it'll be close. But I'm gonna go with Oregon. I'm definitely gonna go with Oregon for sure. I don't think Penn State's good enough. Like they're good. Don't get me wrong. They're actually good, but better than Oregon.
My God, the Ducks are only 3.5-point favorites.
Yeah, it's gonna. It'll be cool.
It might be to go take that ASAP. God damn, you tease that and double it. They're beating them by 10. Penn State sucks.
They do
3.5. Are you fucking?
That's the lowest.
Fuck no.
The lowest spread since they played us.
That's a trap. That feels like a trap. I'm not gonna lie. That feels like a trap.
Something. They know something. Something crazy is about to happen. Axe, what about you, man? If you could pick a team outside of Oregon, who I think we all agree is the most balanced squad, who do you think can make some noise in this thing?
Man, that's a great question. So many teams have been unpredictable. I might have to go with Chris with SMU, even though they haven't played the toughest schedule. They do play like a really physical brand. I'm not really moved by Georgia. I think Georgia might actually take the L to Texas this weekend. Like Carson Beck really hasn't been playing well on the back end of the season.
And they just went through Armageddon last week, and they played like 2 games and won.
Yeah, 8 overtimes. I got Texas winning that game, man. I don't know. Like, I might say Texas, yo. Like, in all honesty, if they take care of business this weekend, like I think they will, I think they're gonna ride that momentum, and it could potentially be like an Oregon Texas final. Like,
I just don't feel good when you got to go into battle with big dogs. Like Quinn Ewers is your fucking general. I just haven't seen anything that's even approached.
They don't need him.
Also,
they got the GOAT. They got the GOAT on their roster, man. Come on. It's not just
another thing. I'm gonna agree with Tay. Ever since Notre Dame got punched in the mouth by Northern Illinois, they didn't got their shit together. I got them beating Bama, by the way, because I don't trust Jalen Milroe. I'm not gonna send
not against that fucking defense. Against that defense in the cold, Alabama, they can't wait to quit.
Yeah, this ain't the Saban roll tide. Like, I don't know. Kalen DeBoer, I don't think he's ready for this moment yet. And Bama with 4 losses, we'll see how the fans feel about that because they're not used to having 4 losses. So, even though they are in the playoffs, like, I don't know. I got Notre Dame. If you just give me like a top 3, I'd say outside of Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame, and SMU. Like, I don't trust Penn State at all. Indiana, nah, I don't think they're ready yet. Hell of a year, though. Hell of a year. I don't think they're ready yet.
Yeah, happy they're going to be there.
Yeah, I don't see any teams from the Big 12 up there with the other teams as well. So, like I said, Notre Dame, Texas, or SMU, that'll probably be the Final Four, in my opinion. But Boise State, they can do their thing. That'll be fire. So, I'm rooting for the underdog, really.
They played Oregon closer than anybody all year.
It's a good point.
It was the last-second field goal that won the game. And it was the last play of the game. So, we might be underrating them a little bit depending on who they play. True, who do you got as a other than Oregon team that could fucking surge, maybe get some things done in this playoff?
Well, I damn sure ain't going with Texas. So, pray for their downfall every day. And I damn sure ain't going for Penn State. For me, I'd say Notre Dame, Boise State. Those are the two. For me, I have a lot of belief in Boise State. I know a lot of people feel like, it's a one-man show there, but they've been getting it done. At the end of the day, they've been getting it done, and because they're consistent, they keep winning, and that's what you want. I mean, they've had some tough games. They got an interesting game coming up this weekend with UNLV, so I think they'll get it done. I'm pulling for Boise State. And I just think Notre Dame, like it's been said, they got their shit together. They look focused on every form, like really. So I think Notre Dame. Those are the two for me. I'm going to hope and wish that Georgia beats Texas this weekend. But other than that, Notre Dame and Boise State for me.
So, across the board, we are DAR Sports Media, and Oregon is the favorite. Notre Dame is the sleeper. And Miami got fucked. Don't fuck yourself by missing out on any of the great content that we put out this week. Hoops Hour on Monday is still rocking and rolling. NBA Cup going on. Everything that's going on in the NBA. Our NFL show this week was rocking and rolling, talking about Tay's Jets finally hitting the road. My 49ers finally hitting the road. A lot of people hitting the road. A lot of teams on the rise, too. Those Eagles, man. They keep looking impressive. Whew, we talk all about it. We also talk about, well, the game's going on right now, so I guess that don't matter. If you heard it, you heard it here first about the Lions defense maybe being beyond the point of no return with the injuries, and then Adam Schefter posted about it 2 days later. Adam Schefter, big fan of the DAR Sports Media Football Show, clearly. Week in Wrestling from last week is posted, and man, it has gotten very poignant in the last week, especially with the news that came out today. Boy, so a lot of the things we said on that show kind of came home to roost. Those eggs kind of hatched. So go back and check it out.
Here. That is the thing here. Just need people to understand.
It seems to be pretty damn consistently over these last almost 2 years. Soul Revival 6, of course, True's album. Out there burning up the charts everywhere you could get music. Chris, do you got anything? What do you got going on, man? Since you're the guest, you got anything going on that you're associated with that's popping out right now?
Not directly, but right now it's Art Basel week in Miami, so it's a lot of stuff going on. I want to go to some events. West Side Gun has Gun Basel in Miami. There's also a Rock Marciano and Alchemist event the same day, December 7th. However, I will be working, so I will miss one of those events. I may go to Gun Basel because it's earlier. But other than that, check out Monteezy's music. Check out King Naj's music on all platforms. Those are my guys. Seaplane Entertainment. We got a lot of things coming up. Also, if you don't know, DR Sports Media is on Instagram. Check that out. You know how it goes.
Yes, sir. We're also on TikTok. We're also on TikTok at DR Sports Media. I just ain't figured out how to use that shit yet. Really, I'm old trying to figure this shit out.
True is so old. He's trying to figure out why he won't work, and he showed me the screen grab, and I said, "Bro, that says TICK TALK, TikTok, not TikTok. Download the correct app." No,
I ain't no fucking senior citizen, goddammit. I ain't no fucking senior citizen. It ain't gonna do me like that, goddammit. But no, we're on TikTok. As soon as I get these videos together, we get some stuff together. Trying to figure out this algorithm. But yeah, we're on TikTok. I don't know what other platforms we need to be on, but I'm gonna figure it out. Whatever, shout out to the Medium site right now. I just really want to give credit to the Medium site. Yo, I will always give credit to the damn Medium site. Today, I looked at the numbers and we have almost surpassed November, literally in 5 fucking days. I don't know I know part of what's happening. Shout out to Scotland for the New Day article that's taken off, and shout out to myself for the Kendrick GNX article. That shit is out of here. I don't, I did that on a whim late at night, and it is currently the second biggest article in the history of the site Reboot. So just shout out to everybody that's reading, and let's get all them people over to the Instagram and to the
out
YouTube.
There, they're heading into their holiday breaks at work. They ain't doing no fucking work. Just sitting there reading the Medium site all the time. I get it. Man, every social media platform, Medium. We got all the sports covered. We got everything going on. We got Jeff Axel. We're associated with big things and great men. Jeff Axel over on the Hoop panel. Chris Lini fucking with Seaplane Entertainment. God damn it. DAR spreading them wings, starting to getting the fingers into a lot of pies, and that is because the world of DAR never stops.